chaos. So joining us now to talk more is the Middle East correspondent for the Jewish News Syndicate, Josh Hasten. Thank you so much for joining us, Josh.
Thanks for having me.
So, welcome back. The Israeli Supreme Court put a pause on Netanyahu's firing of the internal security chief Ronen Bar. But there is also no confidence vote scheduled this weekend for Israel's attorney general. All this while a war rages next door. What's behind this rising political turmoil there in Israel?
Yeah, there's certainly a lot going on right now, but let's remember Israel is a vibrant democracy, and there's a little bit of fear-mongering when you talk about a civil war. I don't think we're at that point. Yes, you do have a lot of different opinions out there. You have people who want to negotiate once again with Hamas. You have the firing of the head of the security services there. But that being said, again, we're a country that goes to the polls in theory every 4 years. Sometimes governments don't last that long, but people are highly opinionated, and that's what a democracy is all about. But I don't think we're at a point where we should be talking about a civil war. Again, I think that's fear mongering. I don't think we're at that point at all with those differences of opinion that people are so passionate about here.
Thanks for giving us that clarity in your opinion. The father of Idon Alexander, the last living American hostage, spoke to NewsNation about the recent fighting. Let's take a listen.
I have one open question for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. What is the plan to end this war? And what is the plan to get the last hostage out without ending the war and without entering the second phase?
Every time we talk to Adi, I just can't believe how tireless his efforts are and the strength that he continues to have. Do you think there is still a plan to rescue the hostages, or has Netanyahu decided Hamas simply can't be dealt with? Is that a fair question?
Yeah, it's a fair question. And let me say, for the record, the families of the hostages, it is obviously their responsibility to do everything in their power to get back their loved ones. But that being said, the prime minister has a responsibility as well, and that's keeping all of the citizens of the state of Israel safe. And right now, Hamas, they are not interested in a ceasefire. They're not interested in a deal, and they're not interested in releasing the hostages. Israel was on the verge of perhaps a second phase of that ceasefire, and Hamas is not negotiating in goodwill. Hamas just over the last 2 days has fired rockets at Tel Aviv once again, has fired rockets at Ashkelon. This is a maniacal terrorist organization who have been holding Israelis hostages for over 530 days. And they have no interest in releasing the hostages. So Israel has to do what it has to do. And at this point, it is putting pressure, military pressure on Hamas to release those hostages. According to the army sources over the weekend, over 200 Israeli strikes, both in Gaza and, by the way, in Lebanon and in Syria, with Lebanon also firing rockets at northern Israel over the last several days. So military pressure, that's the name of the game right now.
And Netanyahu is feeling a different kind of pressure. He's facing a tough political situation, continues to. In a recent poll from the Israel Democracy Institute, nearly half of all Israelis surveyed say the prime minister is responsible for the October 7th attacks and should resign immediately, with another 24% saying he's responsible but should resign after the war is over. With these kind of numbers, do you think there's any chance Netanyahu will be able to remain in power long term?
I think so. Prime Minister Netanyahu, whether you like him or not, he's a master politician, and he has done everything over the last 2 decades almost in order to maintain his position. Right now, he has a very stable government, and it doesn't look like, even with that no confidence motion, I don't think that's anywhere close to passing. I think he's going to maintain his hold on leadership. The day after the war, he'll have to evaluate in terms of his position, in terms of the failures, and there's no doubt they were great failures on October the 7th, perhaps at the level of prime minister, but also the level of the internal security department there and the military. So you have had people resign, top heads of the IDF. You have the potential, the firing of Ronen Bar there, the head of the Israel security minister there. So it is possible, but right now Netanyahu is staying where he is. He has a war to fight, and Israel must be victorious. And the last thing we need right now is any type of a problem on a political level, especially from the prime minister when he's trying to win this war against Hamas. So that's the last thing.
Yeah, that October 7th surprise attack coming seemingly out of nowhere when the IDF is really known for having good intelligence. We've got to leave it there. Thank you so much. Middle East correspondent for the Jewish News Syndicate, Josh Hasten. Thanks again.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
33 minutes after the hour, two leading voices